And I want to sort of go back and look at why I think part of the issue, and this is not exactly my own creative idea. I've seen some information on this, but one of the ways that Blacks are socialized is it's like keep going to school or getting formal education almost without end. And it's like once you do all this, then you're going to have this huge salary, and then you'll get the financial benefits from that. And I think we need to flip that equation, and really we need to be about investing and saving regardless whether you have education or not. Like this is not for folks that go to Wharton or go to, only the Howard grads are doing this. No, this is just like literally, like when I came up in the hood, they made sure that, I could dribble with my left and my right hand. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to put time on the courts. I messed my knees up trying to dunk. So this is how we got socialized. They made sure I could hold my hands. Because when I traveled outside of my neighborhood, and if you step to me, you gonna know that you was in a fight.
It's gotta become part of the culture. It has to become part of the culture. Like you said, that's a great analogy too. Like you gotta be able to dribble with both hands. They make sure when you come from the hood, you know how to play ball. Like
you especially gotta learn how to lay up left.
In Philadelphia, hoops is like a culture. So like part of our overall culture should be learning to save and invest. That's a great point.
And if we did that, then we'd have more people coming out of high school who, even if you didn't go to college, okay, no big deal. But they would go after those corner properties and turn it into something. Go after the carts and whatnot. It makes no sense.
But that's why we socialize them young, though. That's why we started our Bodyhood camp when we start kids at 5 years old. As soon as they can read, they can come.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So get them. If you teach them to read, we'll teach them to invest. And that's why we do our camp.
Because
that's why we started that way.
That's exactly right. And I'll just sort of bring it full circle with the investment club. The nice thing with our club now, so one of the things we do through our club is we loan money. So if you're a partner, you can borrow money. So right now our max loan will max out about $3,000, but that's going to fluctuate as our assets grow. We may be up to $4,000 actually, and that will fluctuate based on our assets. So if you think about it, how many businesses can you start for $3,000 or $4,000? There's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yes.
So if I'm happen to be walking down the street and I see something, I'm like, wow, here's a new, and I actually saw something that I really liked a couple weeks ago. It's a fusion type of Asian food, and they have a franchise. And if it's a few grand, I know I can just go back to my club and be like, loan me the money.
Yeah.
And again, as a club, you can set it up ways where you get an equity stake as opposed to just a loan. There's different ways you could do it. But what happens is that investment group becomes a hub to do all these other things we're talking about. So that becomes like the base. That becomes the base because
this is the actionable step. Like this is the actionable step of building businesses that people can do, and you can do it within your own circle. You don't need anybody's permission to do these things. You can actually do these things. It just takes the time and the discipline and the want to actually do it. And so that's the thing that we're not talking about. Like you have to want to do this. You have to want to build these communities. And that's the thing that most people don't want to talk about. Most people don't want to do this stuff because it's actual work. So I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it so that y'all don't have to. Most people don't want to do it. They full of tomfoolery. And so let's just say what it is. If you really want to build, this is a actionable way to build and buy and have the things in your community that you want.